Okay, we'll now reconvene. Moving on to consent agenda. Board members, are there items that you wish to pull? Starting with Mr. Kim. Do you have any items under the consent agenda that you wish to pull?
Let me see it here. You had moved it. You got it? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I have number 1 and number 2, A and B, number 3, and number 4.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kim. Ms.
And I think number 6.
Okay, Mr. Calderon, do you have anything that you want to have pulled from consent agenda?
Not at this time.
Mrs. Duarte? Mrs. Uno Vizcarra?
No.
Okay, seeing none, we'll have items G1, G2, A, B, G3, G4, and G6 pulled. Can I have a motion to approve items 5A through M7? Is there a motion?
I make the motion to approve it.
Motion by Mr. Kim.
Second.
Second by Ms. Duarte. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Going on to, aye? Yes?
Yes.
Going on to item G1. Mr. Kim.
First of all, the usually we have a minute attaching the what's called PowerPoint from the presentation. This time we did not attach our budget PowerPoint presentations. We should be attached it PowerPoint for the second interim budget.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Mr. Kim? In regards to the minutes, G1.
Okay, and the other one is page 110. Board member comments. Well, they were a little missing. I need to add up to my comment and the QI. It doesn't encroach our budget, but losing grant. That's what I mentioned. It is not there.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Anything else in regards to minutes?
For that, for now, I didn't find another yet.
Thank you. Going on to, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the special board meeting held on March 6th?
I move to approve.
Motion by Calderon. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Zuno Vizcarra. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Item G2, ratification of consultants, contracts, agreements, MOUs. Item 2A, Mr. Kim?
Why we have to spend money with the CSBA?
Okay. Mrs. Ambriz, would you like to speak to it, or who is going to speak to it?
Yes, this is an online service for developing our board agendas. It actually facilitates the development of the agenda itself, because if there are any changes that are added on late, if you put it online, number one, it automatically generates it in the right order for you without having to discard any actual physical papers that may have already been printed, number one. And the other is that it allows the site principals, for example, to be able to submit their agenda items directly from their computers online to us. So again, it just allows us to function more efficiently and hopefully have more productive board agendas for you.
So what you're telling us is that it creates the agenda electronically?
Yes. Correct.
But they still going to be a PDF file.
Excuse me?
Still going to be PDF file or electronic?
Yes. Yes.
When you say that it's going to generate the agenda, right now, usually Ms. Aguilar and yourself sit and build the agenda. What is the difference?
The difference is, for example, Mrs. Burgos will type up all of the contents of this. If there happens to be a change after the document is added and there's a change, it throws the lettering off, it throws the system off. She has to actually have to restart everything from a specific point. This allows her to do this automatically because the online program will do the numbering, the renumbering, the restructuring of the agenda itself in an automatic fashion.
I have a question. Is it Apple friendly? It is.
And can you clarify that it isn't items placed on by the president or the superintendent, it's items that are submitted by the sites? Is that correct?
Yes, like for example, right now, the principals, for example, will submit their requests for like field trips or the request for something that they may want at their site. So they submit that report to Mrs. Burgos. We do the review of the item itself. So instead of them having to send it a copy in any way, they submit it electronically to Mrs. Burgos, where she can just, if we approve it, it gets uploaded automatically into the system. So it allows for some archiving, it allows for it to be put where it needs to be on the agenda without having for there to be a reconstruction of the agenda itself, which takes up a lot of the time that Mrs. Burgos works on these agendas. For example, there was I'm not sure if it was this agenda or the previous one, where it was already ready to go. A change needed to be made. She had to go in and redo the whole thing, discard whatever had been printed, start all over. This allows for that, to allow the changes to be automatic, so there's less of that.
Cutting waste
Yes.
of time and
technologies. You run that through technology? Yes. You're not in your head. Yes. Okay.
And to understand this correctly, that is to do this agenda without these?
The way this program works is that the goal of the district is for each one of you to have a laptop before you. It would eliminate the packets. It would eliminate the delivering to your homes. So it is a big cost savings to the district. The first year is $3,000, and thereafter it's $2,500. And once the agenda was ready to post on Wednesday, we had a last-minute addition. We needed a resolution that came in the last minute. So instead of throwing everything off and scanning and copying everything again, it's web-based. So it is a cost saving to the district. Eduardo, the IT department, has some quotes for laptops, and we did a cost saving analysis. And this is what CSBA recommends for our district this size. And we had a webinar where we invited principals, clerical staff, to see how the system would work for us. And so we were in agreement that this is the best way for us to go at this time.
No more paper, no more this.
Correct.
So we will be
Did you
able.
attend the
I'm
webinar?
sorry.
no, I did not attend the webinar.
Okay.
I didn't know.
And
There is a 2-day training. I think you were asking about a training, and there is a 2-day training that they would come out and train district staff and then our school sites.
in technical support, is it included in this $3,000 or is that extra? Technical support from this company.
It's part of it, yes.
It's part of it.
For the
Okay.
first year.
So there's no surprises. $3,000 and that's it.
For the first year,
For the
and
first
then
year.
2,500 after that.
And no more add-on fees.
No.
Okay.
Do you have any further questions, Mr. Kim, in regards to this specific item?
Well, I'm still not convinced of the necessary to change and spend money another $3,000 per year.
Okay. Any other board member wishes to speak
And
on
also,
that
I
item?
still insist to have a hard copy because I need to write down on my agenda.
Is there any other board member that has any comments in regards to this item?
I do. This is going to be owned by CSBA, right? So if anybody wants to go to look at the minutes or look at the agenda, are we just talking about agenda or are we talking about agenda and minutes?
Both items.
Both items?
And the backup information will be stored with them as well.
And they will be stored under CSBA's parameters, rules, and stuff? They would be the owners of our agendas.
Hold on. So they're gonna own all this information.
Yes.
Yes, they will be, they do service a lot of districts in the backup information. If you look at all the other districts that they do service, and it is, it's very secured, web-based. Our technicians went ahead and asked the correct questions for them, and they were satisfied that it is a secure web-based program.
Yes? Yes?
Yes, go ahead.
If I may, the information will be stored in CSBA's web servers, but it will be owned by the district because it's district property.
Okay, but they will be the company to manage it, in other words. Okay, all right.
Ms. Duarte?
I'm just thinking of how much we're spending on this, plus the videotaping, plus the translations, plus, we did want open communication with community and stuff. It's not an expensive deal if it's all it is that we're saying. If it's not gonna be any complication and if it's gonna save on overtime hours. I just don't want for later on to cost anybody else's position or job,
In regards
But-
to what you've mentioned about the translation services, we have made arrangements with the translation services. That's why I asked, is there anybody who needs services? And at that point, they cut off. If there's no services being provided, the charge is cut off there.
for the hour.
Okay, and the other one is in regards to the same thing with the camera or the video. It's once closed session starts, it ends. So that's how we've been.
That's true. Our
correct.
deliveries from after closed session are not recorded, right?
That's correct. We save costs.
But you don't have a whole complete meeting.
You have the minutes. Well, it's either that or you save costs.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Board members, any? Okay. Is there a motion to approve item G2A?
I move to approve.
Motion by Calderon. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Zuno Vizcarra. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 No.
No.
Aye. Motion passes 3-2. Item 2B, agreement between Landmark Consultants, Inc., Geotechnical Engineering, and CUSD for the Calexico High School Swimming Pool Project. Mr. Kim, 2B.
Did they go to for the bidding process?
Is there a question, is there a response for Mr. Kim?
Yes.
No, I'm asking for a response for you.
Ms. Alvarez, go.
Okay, Mr. Martinez will address that issue.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Good afternoon, Raul Martinez. Mr. Kim, in regards to your question, at this time, the work that they're conducting are just preliminary soil testing to get going with all these blueprints that will go to DSA. So to answer your question, when Mr. Fergali gave the go-ahead, or when the architect was given the direction to move on with this, and that's Mr. Jimmy Sanders, the need was to do the soil testing so that it could be, these plans could be put together to be sent to DSA. Saying that, the direction was given by Mr. Fergali, so no, there's no, it didn't go out to bid in regards to this portion, but again, it's only the preliminary. It's just a preliminary work before you actually go out to bid on the actual contract of the construction of all this work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's also the reminder that this falls way under the bid threshold.
That's correct.
And
I do have one question. Have we done business with this company before?
Yes, we have.
When?
They did all the modernization for Calexico High School. They did the work for the modernization at Jefferson Elementary. So we've done work with them before. They're very qualified and a good contractor or consultant.
The soil that Enrique Camarena, I believe
Yes, they did.
it too.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm giving a most recent. You're absolutely right, Mrs. Duarte.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, move on to item 2B. Is there a motion to approve item 2G2B?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Duarte. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I'm abstaining.
4 ayes, 1 abstention. Item G3, accounts payable pre-list. Mr. Kim?
Okay, page 2. Uh, 024465 Caldwell Flores Winters Incorporations. Continuing disclosure annual report preparation and filing for fiscal 2011 and 12. So what kind of a annual report we talking?
Well, it's the continuing disclosure report. It's having to do with previous bonds that have been issued. I believe it's Measure J, the Measure J bond. There are certain requirements that the district has to, and certain reports that must be filed, and they're called continuing disclosure, and that's what these annual reports are.
Well, when did we approve it? I believe the Caldwell is only have a contract for the something else, not this one.
This was approved in the October board, I think it's October 23rd board meeting. There's a Caldwell Flores and Winters contract that includes the continuing disclosure.
Well, at that time, Caldwell was only approved for the swimming pool.
As a part of that very same contract, it discusses the continuing disclosure.
I don't recognize on those. We only had to approve the swimming pool, the bond issuing. That's we approved it. And October ones, we approved them about the other one was approved them as the COP, the refinance it, but that was rejected by the COE. So actually, Caldwell Flores, they don't have any contract besides the last time we approved for the one of the things with the what we approved the last time.
Yeah, that was the one that it got denied. Yeah.
No, last time we approved the Caldwell
Oh,
Flores.
that was for yes, I know what you're talking about. The one that's not gonna cost more than $15,000. So
Yeah, that's all we have contract with them.
Was
The
it-
bond for the swimming pool and this one.
yes.
But not this one, they don't have any contract.
I did ask today, Mr. Kim, to look at that because I had exactly the same question, and she showed me the contract, and yes, it does talk about this. This is a one-time, if I'm not mistaken, this is a
It's an annual fee.
one-time fee.
Annual fee, so
Annual fee.
$3,000 for this year, and if they continue to complete the annual report, next year it goes down to $2,500.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other items, Mr. Kim, within the pre-list?
Okay, you said when was we approved this Caldwell?
It was approved on October the 25th,
25th or 28th or something like that, yeah. Something like
The last year?
I believe,
12.
Yes.
of last year, 2012.
Yes.
Okay, the other one is page 4. The 024479, Department of Healthcare, saying final settlement from audit finding on June 20th, 2012, for year ending June 30 07. What finding number was finding on this one? At the audit we have approved it?
I believe this is this has to do with MA, the program MA, and it was an audit finding back from 2007, and it looks like it's a repayment of revenue. I can pull it to verify that, but that's what it looks like. It's a,
But they said the audit finding on June 20, 2012, which is the audit finding.
and Mr. McFadden can speak to that, but it is in regards to a
Special ed.
yeah, for MA.
And the year ending 2007, which is like about 6 years ago. 5 years ago, it's actions.
That's correct.
But that time didn't have a finding on the amount until now.
Mr. McFadden, thank you.
The state has a very long memory. In terms of going back to 07, the way for this particular findings, we're not the only district in the state of California. It basically was all the individual districts who participated in the MA program at that time. And it really had to do with how the state accounted for services that we had provided. So it's a very complicated formula, but it's essentially for the state, what they did is they took a look at the number of units of services that we had provided, whether it be by our school nurse, by the speech therapist, by the school psychologist, etc. And as they went through from a state standpoint, they realized that they were double counting. So they went through going back to 07 and it basically readjusted what we should have been paying. Originally, the information that we had received is that our district and none of the other districts would be required to actually pay back the information. What they would do is they would just take that amount off of previous or of future revenues that we're generating. They changed their mind, and so we have it. So we expect we have the 2,000 for the 07. I think we will have a little bit in 2008, and I think by 09 things were straightened out. So it's a few thousand. A few $1,000s in relation, and I wasn't here for those particular years, so I'm not sure how much we generated, but it was very, really it's minimal in relation to the amount of services that the unit services that we're providing, from them. So we didn't do anything incorrect. It's just a recalculation from
An accounting thing.
yeah from the state. That's all. Just a new methodology that they're using.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further items within the pre-list, Mr. Kim?
Not on
None?
me, yeah.
Thank you. Seeing, board members, are there any other items on the pre-list that you have questions on?
I just had a question regarding the Imperial Valley Press, which is on page 7. No, 8. But I believe it's because we had in our last meeting we had another bill for 1,086 or something like that, and now we're getting charged again for 1,196. But what I'm seeing is because I guess when we advertise in Imperial Valley Press, especially on Sundays, it's really expensive.
That's right, and since we've been doing a lot of RFP and bid items, we have to advertise those in the paper, so we do incur the cost
And we
for
don't
the
get a
advertising.
special discount.
No, we don't.
However,
ask?
We sell.
you might consider, sorry for interjecting.
That's fine.
But you might consider approaching the business department of the Ivy Press. There are packages where if you do
great.
kind of like a proposal,
Will do.
have them provide you with a proposal. It comes better than trying to just advertise. You have a certain amount for a certain number of
Oh,
notices.
okay. Thank you. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, that was everything that I had.
I have, on page 4, Department of Healthcare, final settlement for audits. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the one that Mr. Kim asked for. Imperial County, page 6, Imperial County fourth quarter billing for route inspection penalty fee,
Routine,
the last one.
routine, not wrong.
I mean, routine inspection, and it's a penalty fee? What is the penalty fee for?
Mr. Caballero?
Yes, the penalty fees are, we get charged by the health department for inspections that they do in the cafeterias. And when we don't pay in time, it's a $25 penalty per site that they charge us, and that's a $25. So last time we didn't pay in time.
Oh, so we pay them to come and do a routine
That's
checkup?
the law. We had to pay them for their inspections.
Really?
Yes, it has been in place for the last 3 years.
It's not paid by the state?
No.
So there was no fine?
No. It is a routine inspection, and that penalty it is that we didn't pay in time last invoice, and they charge $25 for penalties for not
Per
paying in
site.
time.
So that's a total for the whole district.
That's correct.
Okay.
And every
that's-
time they come in inspections, we pay for that inspection.
So the inspection is $25?
No, penalties. The penalty is $25 on penalties.
He basically
It's a
said
late fee.
that they didn't pay the bill on time, so they got dinged $25 per site.
Per site?
For not paying it on time.
$231 total?
Oh, per site, and that's why it's 231.
Yeah.
Yes.
On top of them charging us, they're charging us.
How much do they charge us
for
for
paying them
this?
late?
I don't recall the amount. It's about $180 per site, per visit. And they come twice a year. Or every time they have a complaint, if someone complains and they come and there's no finding, there's no charge for it. If we have a complaint and they come and they have a finding, there's a charge, the same as inspection.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Let's write a check to them.
That's all I have from
All right.
her.
Thank you.
I still have, on the Imperial County office, payment for P16 council services for college-going initiative. Are these are broken by site, correct?
That's correct.
Page 7.
Page 7.
What
And-
page was?
Page 7, I'm
7.
sorry. And so, how many payments? Oh, second and final payment. So these are half. And this money is going to the college-going initiative? That's what it's for?
For the P16 council.
That's what it is. That's basically we pay for their service, and they're supposed Imperial County is supposed to come and do some trainings with us and provide some services. So then, but in the MOU that we have with them, it lists that we will pay basically ICOE for the P16 for being part of the P16.
And they do come and train our staff?
That's my understanding.
Sherry?
Well, with P16 Council, I attend monthly P16 Council meetings. And so they provide, whatever they provide countywide, if they provide workshops, programs, they're available to all districts. And they're usually general locations. Every now and then we do get representatives from ICOE that, for example, for Gear Up or anything that has to do with college going initiative, outreach, etc., they send them to our sites.
For
this is
example,
part of
like
it.
when they do registering them for the placement test for IVC, for doing financial aid workshops, for doing...
For parents, things for
Yeah.
parents, yes.
This is all part of that outreach.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just didn't know what it was for. And then on the IID, I just had, I like 66,000, not 100,000, you know. But because we're going on spring break, I just want to make a comment, maybe a memo to our staff, turn off all the electricities in the classrooms and offices if not needed, you know. I think that's it. That's it?
Thank you. Ms. Zuna Vizcarra?
None, thank you.
Seeing no further questions, can I
Please,
please...
Ms. Aguilar,
Mr. Kim?
give me a chance to work out the, excuse me myself, because they have some payments to the city.
You can just stay there and not vote, Mr. Kim. You don't need to...
But last time that you guys say to me,
Okay. Do
stop
you...
staying because I'm staying here.
Okay,
So I'm
that's
gonna be
fine. You can do
That's-
however you like.
That's gonna be every month, Mr. Kim. We pay water every month.
No, that water doesn't really matter. That's a regular one. But they have a bond issues there.
Oh,
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Motion by Calderon. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Duarte. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes with 4 approvals and 1 abstention. Item H, Superintendent recommends approval of each of the following items. H1, accept and award to the lowest responsible and responsive bid for Phase 2 earthquake repair projects.
So we didn't do the...
No?
So, what?
I'm sorry?
We have G4 and G6 that was...
Oh, I'm sorry.
G4.
Forgive me. Item G3, accounts payable pre-list for April 2.
No, G4.
You can see it.
Okay, I know, let me finish. G4, accounts payable pre-list for April 2nd, 2013.
Yes.
Okay, this one I believe we're not gonna have a pre-list on that next meeting. That's why we have to pay for that meeting. That's why put in the only need to pay for that.
There will be a pre-list on the next board meeting in April. However, these payments are just due prior to that board meeting.
That's what I'm
why we're
saying.
doing this early.
That's what
Yes.
my questioning
Yes.
is. We're gonna have a pre-list, but this one you have to pay before that time.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. I make the motion to approve it.
I have discussion.
Okay.
He,
I pulled out my motion.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. $900,000 for Anthem Blue Cross. Weren't we at $700,000 last year?
We were close to 700,000. 900,000 is just an estimate of what we don't expect the bill to exceed. We have received a rate increase and for our current members, so it's just an estimate. So for the bill, just as a safekeeping for the bill not to exceed the $900,000, but the bill is not $900,000. It's just an estimate.
How much was the rate increase?
The rate increase, I believe, was 24, either 24.5 or it's 26.4, something along those lines.
And that was on the medical?
That was on the medical.
And I'm sorry, go ahead, Ruth.
I have some question about the rate.
Hold on, Mr. Kim, Mrs. Duarte is
Okay.
having her questions first.
These were effective July 1st?
Effective January 1st.
January 1st?
This year?
Yes. Because we had a 6-month rate
From August.
from July 1st to
July 1st
December
to
31st.
Wow.
Well, what
Wow,
I understanding, can I talk?
Yeah, I'm done.
What I understanding, the Anthem Blue Cross, officially the rate increase is 13%. That rate, they reported adjusted the rate increase 13% to the government, the state governments. I believe the insurance commissioner, they reported a 13% increase.
It's an average, Mr. Kim, but
Yes.
it's based on our usage. We have a very high usage of claims.
But I saw the last time the usage dropped a lot. I didn't have a record on that. I like to have all our usage monthly basis to see I think we had a committee meeting, the insurance committee meeting, they had a monthly usage has been reported. I like to have a copy of this monthly report of the usage.
Are there any further questions by board in regards to this item?
No, I don't.
Seeing none, is there a motion to approve item G4?
Move to approve.
Motion by Calderon. Is there a second? Second by Duarte. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right. Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Now, item H1. Accept an award to the lowest responsible and responsive bid for
Was that
G6.
6.
Oh, man. I really want to get to H, huh? Item G6, approve submittal of Workforce Investment Act Title I grant application for the year 2013-2014 / adult ed funding. Mr. Kim.
Well, I believe this one is adult ed to what's called the grant money we applying. But I don't want to see sweep the money, old money to the general fund, cancel the adult ads like last year they tried to. That's my own concern about this grant. I like to support as much as you can get the money for the adult ad, but I still want to keep the adult ad at least a certain level for the community need. Is there any intention from the super administrations to how to use this grant?
No, no, sir.
So just we're applying the grant only.
Yes.
Okay, please see that one to keep the money at least a certain portion to the adult ed who was intent to try to educating the adults.
Any further questions, Mr. Kim?
Make the motion to approve it.
I have a motion by Mr. Kim. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Now, item
So that's it.
H1.
One more. Okay.
For the third time's a winner. Accept an award, item H1, accept an award to the lowest responsible and responsive bid for Phase 2 earthquake repair project. H1, Mr.
Good evening, Raul Martinez. As per Mr. Sanders earlier, he was, when he was giving his presentation, that the Rockwood project was split into two different parts here. And what were they? They were the lighting for the Emerson Field, and then he mentioned the non-structural, or he mentioned cosmetic work. So saying that, we got 4 different contractors that actually came in and gave bids. And the lowest responsible bidders for was Trademark Construction to do the work that Mr. Sanders referred as the cosmetic type of work, and that was for base bid 2, base bid 3, and that's for a total of $48,694. And then we had another contractor, Team C, that bid for the lighting, and that was for the combined bid for the lighting, which came in at $203,988 for a total project cost of $252,682. And it's important to note here that, saying that we got the project worksheets that we had from FEMA, which would be for Dual Elementary and Rockwood Elementary. It's stated there as far as the amounts coming in from FEMA funding, and the impact to the district would be the $113,729 to do the complete work here.
Are there any questions, board members?
Not this time.
I don't have any more questions either.
Anybody else?
No.
Ms. Duarte?
No.
Mr. Noviscarra? Seeing no further questions, is there?
I just have one comment, though.
Okay.
I like the way everything is put in front of us that we can read, and I would like for all bids that go out, have the full information like this.
I agree with you, and if we can...
Although I don't like reading, I really enjoyed this reading.
Don't say that.
Will do.
I like pictures.
I concur you.
But
So-
yeah.
Okay, so if we can note that further bids, we want them all fully documented, just like this. Good
Will do.
job, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you.
Exactly. Yes.
Is there a motion to accept and award to the lowest responsible and responsive bid?
I make the motion to approve it.
Motion by Mr. Kim, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Duarte. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. H2, adoption of job description and salary schedule placement for the Family Resource Center and Student Service Specialist, H2.
I have a question regarding this.
Go ahead.
I believe last time we were here, I specifically asked to have to point out the differences between the old job description and the new job description. What happened?
There is no old job description.
There is no...
This is
Oh,
a
well, no,
new-
I
this is
asked,
a new
I asked to,
position.
I asked to have her old, what she was doing previously, and circle what is it that was new.
Which is her old
old
old job position, the job description. Different job description name, but
Yes, we did it with the HR. We did it with the HR position, and somebody sent me something that it was circled and said, this is the old job description that we had, and these are the changes that we made. So,
We believe that you received something in your Friday packet.
No,
no.
no, we haven't received anything.
this. And that is all that I'm asking. I don't want to seem as I'm against this, but if we are going to turn around and do things the right way, I believe that it has to be the right. This is the right way to do it. That we have to show what is it that we're doing. I'm not against approving this. However, I just want to show this. I just want it to be shown.
Well, I just want to say that this was work of the merit system for the Personnel Commission. That is their duty. The reason why we got involved with the HR was because we didn't know if to classify it as classified or certificated, and therefore we had an option of looking and comparing and asking what we wanted from that job description. But this was done by the Personnel Commission, and I don't know if they sent it out or the commission or the director compared it with something else.
Okay, hold on.
But this is a total different job. This is a new job to this district.
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
so hold on. So I have here something. It says administrator assistant. Is this what she was? Okay, so this is what she was doing. Okay. It's a whole bunch of things to read.
And
That's
why
what I'm
I
saying.
drawing
that's why you get it on Friday.
Okay, I didn't see it. Okay, so the changes are here. So the changes from this old job to this new job are here. So
And as requested,
Yes.
it was placed separately.
Yes,
You
yes,
guys
and
wanted
it's
to
here.
approve
yes.
the job description and salary schedule and keep it separate from the
Okay.
reclassification. That's what was done.
And I see it here. I see it here now. So my apologies for that. Now I am seeing that there's a difference of, I believe it says 2,000 and something salary. Now is that per year or per month?
I think they
The year,
clarified
okay.
last time that it was
Okay,
for
so it's per year.
the year.
Okay, sorry. Okay, that's all. Those are all the questions that I have.
Any further questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to adopt the job description and salary schedule placement?
I have some discussions.
That's why I asked Mr. Kim.
Yeah, I lost time.
Thank you. Please.
Well, I see this is another way to salary increased. We should, if we really, this person done all that much job, that much hard job, we might have to create some part-timers to do something covered up. Instead of just giving the one person more salary hike and later said, oh, too much work. We should break down, if really too much work for the one person to increase the salaries, we should separate the job.
Is that it,
So
Mr. Kim?
I like to see to not to approve it if we need to hire the part-timer to do it.
I don't think it's about getting another part-timer, Mr. Kim. I think that the duties that are being done here are very, it's still an administrative assistant position, but it has the separate title of Family Resource Center and Student Services Specialist because it does specific things at the Family Resource Centers. It's not something that administrative assistant at a school site does. This is helping students in need, parents, families. It's the whole family package, if you will. And the duties are very distinguished or separate from the administrative at a school site. So,
Yeah.
for instance, the medical healthy families application, the report medical assistance administration, the MA, all those, the SARB, all those are not really things that the administrative assistant at a school site does. So for many years, I know that the individual that is in that position does do these things, and I previously being an administrative assistant at a school site, I know that I never did these jobs, and that's why she filed for reclassification, because the title itself, she's still an administrative assistant, but the other duties of confidentiality and working with the health department, working with behavioral health, working with mental health and all that distinguishes the separation of title.
So that means FRC director cannot handle that job? They need
No,
FRC
no.
director has to do
No.
it then?
She's been doing it.
And we've
No,
been
I'm-
paying her as an administrative assistant at a school site.
Okay, there's two lines. One line, I don't have any problem to what's called the pay off the what should been done for the last time.
Yeah.
I mean the what's called the out of class pays, but I'm talking about for the future. For the future of the job, we shouldn't do that to. If that the job, I mean the administrator's job, why administrator's not doing instead of her doing? I have two issues. One, yeah, I agree with the past the job what she done to pay over out of the class. It's okay. I'm agree with it because anybody been done job doing the out of their class, they're entitled to be paid for that. But I'm talking about the future. This is job description for the future. Our engagement to pay more as the administrator.
And that is something that, as Mrs. Duarte mentioned earlier, that's something that is decided by the merit system, and that's something that's decided by the Personnel Commission, and that is out of our hands.
In reality, Mr. Kim, it's really, we're just rubber stamping their approval because we weren't present, and superintendent was not present there with our directive to say, we don't want that to happen, go and block it, go and have them not approve it. Because once the Personnel Commission approves it, it just comes for us for rubber stamping. So if it doesn't go through, I guess there's legal process that they have to go through.
Well, I'm understanding. I'm okay with the pay whatever done,
Yeah,
but I'm
but it's a
talking about
done
for the
deal.
future.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you can't pick and choose in terms of what.
It's a done deal.
It's a done deal.
So we approve this one, but we
We
froze the
either
position.
approve it, or we
and
get
the
it
creator,
into, we either approve it, or we put it in ourselves in a position where we may be legally liable for not approving.
I think the merit system has the
Yeah.
right to appeal
Yeah, they
our
can
decision.
overrule. We can say no, and they can
our
overrule.
decision.
Yes, but what I'm still is trying to say that, okay, when we approve this one tonight, and then we can froze the position, and then all the administration job to go back to the administrator does, and then we just need
It doesn't
a
work
simple
that way.
position.
And it possibly can.
Yes.
He's right. It possibly can, because later on we have the classified report. But I see what you're saying as to future, because I'm sure that we have some employees working out of class currently right now. And that's why I had requested for a long time the organization report, so that we could see exactly where everybody's at and what places we need to fill, because we've
I
been
think
filling
we're getting away
positions.
from the point, which
Yeah.
is H2.
But we've been filling positions that maybe there's a need in other places.
I'd like
Okay,
to call
thank
for the
you.
question.
Thank you.
So no more comments.
Is there a second to
I
call
sec-
for the question?
Second.
All those in favor signify
No?
your vote on call for the question.
Aye.
On call for the question. This is
We
on
already
for the
stopped the
call.
discussion.
That's right, but we'll have to vote on call for the question, as you so often point out, Mr. Kim.
Well, I said I
Is there a motion,
accepted
is there, there's a motion and there's a second to call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 No.
Motion passes 4-1. Item H2, adoption of job description and salary schedule placement for the Family Resource Center and Student Service Specialist. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Zuno Vizcarra. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Calderon. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 No.
Motion passes 4-1. Item H3, resolution in support of legislation to streamline natural disaster occurrences through passage of AB 1245, H3.
This is,
I'm sorry, please go ahead.
This is a resolution that has been brought to us so that we can support it. This was through Angelica Teachea and our legislators. They would like for us to endorse AB 1245, given that this is AB 1245 is something that is actually about Calexico regarding how the response the state will have in terms of any natural disaster such as the earthquake that took place in Calexico in 2010. I believe we're getting close to the anniversary of that day. And it says, whereas Calexico Unified was established in earlier 1900s in the Imperial Valley, and whereas the school district is providing services to more than 9,200 students of the Imperial Valley, and whereas in 2010 the Imperial Valley experienced a 7.2 earthquake causing damage to private and public facilities, and whereas as a result of the 7.2 earthquake, estimated damages to the Calexico Unified School District amounted to over $10 million, and whereas AB 1245 with Manuel Perez shall cap ADA accessibility compliance fees at 3%, and such fees shall be paid at completion of the project. And whereas in the absence of the governor and the lieutenant governor or the Senate pro tem shall be authorized to declare the area a disaster, and whereas the bill as proposed allows up to 15 instructional days to assess, declare, and deem it a natural disaster area, and now therefore be it resolved that the Calexico Unified School District is in support of legislation that will streamline the process of construction and reconstruction of school facilities in a natural disaster occurrence through the passage of AB 1245. You know, as you recall, board members, that earthquake was very devastating to our district in terms of facilities and the safety and well-being of our students. And we actually went through a lot of turmoil in having to pay back days and getting the waivers, and it took a long time. And this legislation is to help us, this assembly bill is to help our district or any other district that finds itself in a predicament where things that are way beyond their control, such as an earthquake, where they find themselves being declared a disaster area, but they're given some leeway in terms of what and how to proceed, and who can actually declare their area a disaster area, you know, in the absence of specific people.
Thank you. Is there any questions or comments from board members, beginning with Mr. Kim?
Okay, first of all, the April 5th, 2010 was. So this year again, during the vacation time. Okay. I believe the Manuel Perez did this one for the, like what you're saying, for Calexico, but especially for the older any school district to have issues, any disaster for them. I think we should support this one.
Thank you. Any further comment?
Yeah.
Mr. Calderon?
We are. I think we are in a very special area because of our location in California. So something like this, it will help us in case, I'm sorry, knock on wood, in case if something happens. Okay, so it's not the kids, it's not the students' fault. However, it's not the district's fault either. So I think doing something like this and have somebody at the state level be recognized that we are in that area and that it may happen again. I think it sends a clear message that they recognize that we may need the help.
Thank you, Mr. Calderon. Mrs. Duarte?
I motion to approve.
I think we're still there.
That's my comment.
Okay.
I motion to approve.
Ms. Zuna Vizcarra? Okay. And I concur with Ms. Duarte. So, seeing no further comments, we'll proceed to the roll call vote required. Excuse me, you want to stand by that motion, Ms. Duarte?
I stand by the motion. I support this
Okay.
bill.
Motion by
and I
Duarte.
move to support.
I will second that.
Motion by Duarte, second by Calderon. Roll call vote. Aguilar, aye. Calderon,
Aye.
Duarte,
Aye.
Kim,
Hi.
Vizcarra.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Board members' closing comments. Mr. Kim?
No comment this time.
Thank you. Mr. Calderon?
I had the opportunity to go today to Kiki Camarena and Cesar Chavez and visit and walk around. And for just for the principals to know that I'm not there to supervise or be critical or do nothing like that. It's just that I want to get there and know people and say hi to students and say hi to parents, talk to everybody, and answer any questions that I may answer at that time. I just want to be go around and meet everybody. Okay, just so you know, if you see me coming into your school, I believe I talked to Janet today, and I asked Janet to send an email to all the principals that I'm gonna be coming around to the schools. But it's just that I just want to come over and say hi because I haven't made those official visits to all the schools. So just so you know, so I went to, like I said, to Kiki Camarena and Cesar Chavez today. I saw a lot of good things. When I got to Kiki, they were unloading the container where we're going to guard, or they're going to safeguard the uniforms. Okay, and I literally got there when they were doing that. So I think I was the first one to get into the container, and it's a huge container. It's nice. Okay, so we talked about a couple of good things when I went over there. I went to Cesar Chavez in the afternoon, and same thing, they were having their carnival today. I saw a lot of parents, I saw a lot of students, except for the weather, there wasn't the greatest, but I think everybody was having a good time. So I really liked what I saw today when I went to those schools today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Calderon. Ms. Duarte?
Was it last week when we went to that training for discipline and expulsion? It was a very good training. I'm glad that I was sitting next to Ms. Armendariz, so I'm glad that we were on point with a lot of the things that were happening. There was a lot of questions asked by other board members or other staff from other school districts too. But it was one of the trainings that Ms. Aguilar and I had to go because we were told we were doing things wrong. And by being at that meeting, I think that they really blew it out of proportion, because as I was sitting there next to Ms. Hortensia, she says, we're doing that. And it's like, okay, so why did we get dinged on it? You know, that's probably the issues that we had last year of having a letter marathon going back and forth. So the other thing was that I know that we were all invited, the board and the administration was invited to Brawley to see the future chefs in this Brawley School District. It was very good because the kids were very enthused in cooking and competing. It was nice. I did show up. I stayed for the whole thing because I wanted to see who was the winner. The food was good. After they finished judging the food, we got to taste it, and it was an excellent program. And I think the school district needs to, although we do have our ROP cooking class, it's fun to see the elementary kids getting involved in the food program and competing, you know. So I did have the newspaper, and it was, Miss Mallory was one of the judges. Helen Noriega, the school board member, was another one. The superintendent of the Brawley was. So, you know, these things get on the front page, things positive things, and we haven't had a positive thing. There's been a lot of positive things in Calexico, and they just don't make it to the front page, only are negative. But I know that we had the band, they did great. Mr. Pesqueira sent us an email on that, And congratulations to your band for being very successful. But we need to make the newspaper, guys. We need to inform the people that Calexico does have a lot of good, positive things, going on. We just need to advertise that. And if it's paying the Ivy Press for putting it in the front page, let's do it. Let's get those things out there. Let's get our students out there, because I know that they want to read about themselves, and we don't really recognize them. The only time we recognize them is here or in an event function at a school site, but it all stays in Calexico. Let's get it out to the valley and show them, like Mr. Hicks said, let's show them that it's not only Brawley or El Centro. Calexico is also part of the Imperial Valley. Yeah. Thank you.
Ms. Zuno-Vizcarra?
Thank you. Well, in line with everyone, just to share an updates on what I've been doing. I got the opportunity to go to a couple of open house activities that went on. I went in particular to Duo and to Kiki. Really exciting to see all the things that happened, but more excited to see the parent turnout at the schools, and the kids get to show off all of the things that they're doing. And in particular in Kiki, it was really exciting because they actually do the whole interactive thing where the ASB students walk around with everyone and make sure that everyone is welcome. And it's really exciting. And in particular, Mr. Gonzalez, the principal at Kiki, gives a great presentation. I've had the opportunity to hear him give a presentation to the parents, or in his speech, so to speak. That's very welcoming to the parents, and I hear from the parents that they already appreciate his comments. I went to the spelling bee at Southwest High School last week. It was really exciting, but maybe because I'm kind of nerdy that way, I wanted to spell out some of the words, and I actually thought I got in trouble at one point because the judge was kind of reprimanding people that were spelling out, but I was doing this and spelling them out. But he said someone was signing them, so I don't sign that well, so it wasn't me. Or we would have made the paper again for something negative. I was signing the, but I saw that, and so it was really exciting to see kids from Calexico up there. So I was really, really honored just to go and offer support to these kids some of them were just really tiny, and a lot of our teachers were there supporting their students. And so more kudos to those teachers that took time out from, just because this was in the evening, and they took hours out from their own personal time to go see their students out there. So that was really exciting to see. Like Ms. Duarte said, I also went to the student discipline training last week at ICOE. I personally learned a lot about the process, and so my role as a board member, I think, is only enhanced by going to all of these trainings that I can attend. I got to go to the band competition, and I got to see Kiki and Calexico High School. So I know kudos to Calexico High School, but to the Kiki band as well, because they scored good in their first session and excellent in their second one, what is called a silent read. Sight reading, yes, and they did excellent in that one. So they were really, really proud of themselves. I myself am a band mom, so I tag along with them as often as I can. You'll see me in the parades and de colada, as they say. But I like to watch them, and I'm a huge advocate of the arts, and I think it's really exciting to see these kids that they go out there and do that. I'm really excited that I saw the band uniforms for Kiki, so I'm really looking forward to next year where the kids get to use them. I'm not sure if maybe they get to try them on this year. Maybe we could snap a picture of the kids using them, so I thought that was really great. I also went to the IVROP food services over at the Imperial Valley Fairgrounds, so I got to see some of our students showing off their culinary skills. And again, like Ms. Duarte said, I think one of the things that's really exciting to see is that our students are being given these opportunities in this way through IVROP to look for vocational opportunities. So I thought that was really, really exciting to see them, and I'm glad I got to go. I want to talk a little bit about it was in a board comment, and I'd like to see that maybe be more in terms of a presentation of this zero period conversation that has to do with physical activities that are going on in our schools. I think it's really exciting that we're having these conversations. In line with that, what I'd really like to see happen, though, is that we focus or we incorporate health and nutrition and wellness in something like that, because we also have students saying and talking about some of the snacks that are being offered in the schools. I have kids as well, and they like these, God, what do they call these, churros and all this stuff that's kind of probably not the best thing for them to eat. So in line with that, I'd like to see us as a district really incorporate health and wellness as part of a curriculum, that if we're going to include a zero period, or we're going to have those conversations and talk about athletics and talk about what being athletic and being healthy and all of these scholarships and what all that does for your mind and your body, that we incorporate as a district a uniform message that health and wellness is important, that nutrition is important. And I'd really like to see, I might not be very popular for this comment, but that the snacks that are not healthy for our students not be allowed in the school. They also kind of make the schools a little messy, because the kids kind of throw them everywhere, but I really don't think that that's healthy. And again, I'm probably not very popular that I'm going to say maybe we could give apples and carrots and boring things like that. But what they do, if I'm going out and seeing all these kids do really, really wonderful things, if we feed them properly at home and here in our district, and we take care of them that way, I think they're going to do a lot better, and we're going to see a lot more success. Thank you.
Thank you. I've got several items. At the request of two board members, I'd like to have on the next agenda an evaluation of superintendent and an extension of contract. I do have, I would like to be updated personally where we are at in regards to the parent training committee. I've already brought it up twice, and I did provide names and suggestions of people that could be tapped, and they might have other names. I'd also like to see that addressed. The other item is, and I brought it up also again twice, is in regards to a review of food services suggestions, putting together a parent-student CUSD team. The other item I'd like to ask is that we feature photos, articles on our website of our students and our teams and our students' accomplishments in terms of like just talking to the point that Mrs. Duarte made. We need to get it out there. If the press is not doing it, then we need to toot our own horn. The other thing is that I wanted to share with the board is that, and the district and people here, is that in some of the material that gets sent out to us, I did find an article that talked about targeted teaching, and they're doing it up in San Diego and in LA, where they focus teaching on strengthening students' critical thinking skills, their writing skills, their mathematics skills, and that goes a long ways towards having them score higher and be much better prepared for their college years, as well as placement. I also want to share, speaking to the point that Ms. Costa, right? Costa noted that Planned Parenthood has approached me and wanted to speak to the point of providing that type of collaboration. I'd like to ask the superintendent to, speak to them and see if that's something that is possible. Going back up, I did want to share with the board that I did make it a point to speak to Ms. Ambriz today regarding the redesigning of the board agenda to expedite moving items from the consent agenda if there are items that are at no cost or that are self-funded that relate to travel, activity, student or staff activity or training, to move it to info items and submit it as a report. Okay. Also want to share with that I'll share that at another time. I do also want to, if we can get started on identifying a way that we can honor outstanding staff and faculty here at the board meetings. And speaking to that, I had approached Ms. Ambriz in terms of separating a presentation board meeting and an action board meeting, and I will ask her to maybe report on it at the Friday report, so we don't get into it right here. The other thing is wanted to share is that we have a celebration. Well, we have been celebrating of 100 years of Calexico High School. Are we going to do put the question out there in your minds if we're going to do anything in that sense? In regards to the food truck, food services, Mrs. Duarte and Ms. Zuno Vizcarra spoke to how well ROP has performed, and that's what the food truck is something that I have brought up before. Food truck would allow for our students to provide an alternate food service for the rest of students at the high school level, something that's much needed right now. They're going off campus, they're eating junk food, and it's not healthy. It provides hands-on experience for them, and it provides for an expansion and a culmination of what the ROP culinary program is supposed to do, which is provide a career path for them. Finally, I do want to share that reminder that the person that our contact at the California Department of Education will be retiring, and that to keep in mind that might be an idea to make a visit to the California Department of Education at some point during this academic year, and to share that perhaps we need to issue quarterly report, and that can also be as a district sharing what has been accomplished quarterly.
Are you talking about Mr. Hanna?
Yes.
He has retired.
He has retired. He's still consulting. Yeah, and I think that's it. I've got other stuff, but that's, I think there's more than enough there.
Just so you know, the website is in the process of actually being revamped, and you should be seeing a new face to our district website in the next few weeks.
Thank you. So I've got one item, one request to speak from Mr. Chad Cooper. Can somebody turn down the AC or turn it up? It's freezing in here. Oh. Turn it off.
We'll send him the ID bill.
I'm sneezing back here. I told her to turn it up.
No. Please proceed.
Well, I'm waiting for the board's
byplay.
order, the board's attention. Okay, thank you. Sorry, it's my day job to wait for people to, and the temperature is a big topic in my classroom also, so it's like deja vu. Okay. I want to remind the board that there's important summer school deadlines coming up in the contract. I haven't heard anything about summer school, so please consider that at closed session. We've got unique positions that need to be filled. I see other districts recruiting candidates right now. I see it on EdJoin. I'm not looking to leave Calexico, but I do read EdJoin on a weekly basis. I do not understand why we aren't recruiting for next year yet. For example, our Mr. Rasmussen, who to me is the band program, is retiring. Getting a band teacher is not as easy as getting an elementary teacher. So I don't understand why we're not recruiting for that yet. So that would come under employee appointments. One other thing is local funding control is going to allow the board to do a lot of things, like provide field trip experiences to our kids who don't normally get to travel with their parents because they're low income. One of the reasons we sell junk food on campus is to supplement what the school district doesn't provide our students, which is money to go on field trips. So I'm going to sneak that in there before I get told that that's not on the closed session agenda. But yeah, like Ms. Viscar was saying, you want healthy food, but we're going to have no field trips. So you want the healthy food there, you got to fund field trips. That would be my quick, and other student activities that rely on selling junk food. Okay?
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Announcement of convening into closed session.
We're now going to go into closed session to discuss the items as referenced in the board agenda, section K. And then we will return for further actions and announcements of action taken in closed session.
Thank you.